Dear students, good morning to everyone. This is Alagesan Aramugam, the founder and director of Aisha BPM 360 company. Let us talk about the Selfish Giant story, written by Oscar Wilde. I will open the whiteboard for you right now. The Selfish Giant by Oscar Wilde. Okay. We just want to start with the quotation right now. Owning things is human. Sharing them is divine. Okay. Oscar Wilde. Okay. This is about the story about this selfish giant right now. Okay. A selfish giant, right? He is having a garden, okay, and every afternoon the childrens went and played in the giant's garden. In this case, okay, the childrens went and played in the giant's garden. The giant was not there in this case, okay, and like he went to visit his friend Cornish Agree, okay, he is giant's friend in this case, okay, was not there. So children has the happy time here in this case. They went and played in the giant's garden here, okay. It was a large and lovely garden with the soft green grass and trees. Okay. After 7 years, you see there, after 7 years, the giant returned back. Okay. And he saw the children playing in his ground. He is asking Angela, what are you doing there? And he cried in a very rough voice, and the children ran away. Okay. My own garden is my own garden in this case. Okay. My own garden is my own garden, said the giant. Okay. And anyone can understand that Ajalandan will not allow, I will allow nobody to play in it. That is the stance from the giant here in this case. So he built a high wall all around the garden, and put up a notice board. Okay, that's like trespassers will be prosecuted. Will be prosecuted. Okay, so he was a very selfish giant in this case. Okay, now the poor children, they don't have any place to play in this case. Okay, they tried to play on the road, but the road was very dusty and full of hot stones, and they did not like it. Fair enough. And they used to wander up around the high walls when the lessons were over and talk about the beautiful garden inside. How happy we were there, they said to each other in this case. Okay. And then the spring came all over the country. There were little blossoms and little birds. Okay. Only in the garden of the Selfish giant, right? It was still winter. Still winter in the case of Selfish giant. The birds, right, did not care to sing in it. as there were no children and the trees forgot to blossom. Fair enough. Once a beautiful flower put its head out of the grass, but when it saw the notice board, it was so sorry for the children that it slipped back into the ground again and went out to sleep. The only people who were pleased were the snow, right? At that time, the giants called it snow and the frost. Okay, they cried, spring has forgotten this garden. They cried, so we will live here all the year round. Also, if you see there, they invited the north wind to stay with them, north wind to stay with them, as well as we must ask the hail on a visit in this case. Hail is another stuff they're inviting in this case. The selfish giant is confused. Like, he cannot understand why the spring is so late in coming for his particular garden. Okay, but the spring never came, not the summer in this case. Spring never came, not the summer. The autumn, right? It is gave golden fruits to every garden, but to the giant garden she gave none. Okay, he is too selfish. She said. So it is always winter there, and the north wind, the hail, the frost, and the snow dance about through the trees. Okay, this is the status of the giant's gardens right now. Okay, one morning the giant was lying awake in bed when he heard some lovely music. He heard lovely music. It sounded so sweet to his ears that he thought it must be the king's musician passing by. Okay, it was really only a little inert singing outside the window, but it was so long since he had a bird sing in his garden that it seemed to him to be the most melodious music in the world. Okay, the giant says, "I believe the spring has come at last." The believe the spring has come at last. This is the statement from the giant in this case. Okay, he saw a most wonderful sight outside. Okay, through a little hole in the wall, the children has crept in, and they were sitting in the branches of the trees. In every tree that he could see, there was a little child in this case. Okay, the trees were so glad to have the children's back again that they had covered themselves with the blossoms and were waving their arms gently around the children's head. The birds were flying about and twittering with delight, and the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. But in only one corner it was still winter in this case. Only one corner. It was still winter. And there was a little boy standing. Little boy was standing nearby. Little boy standing nearby. Okay. He was so small that he could not reach up to the branches of the tree here, and he was wandering around all around it, crying bitterly. So he is crying because he is not able to climb the tree in this case. Okay. The poor tree was still quite covered with the frost and snow, and the north wind was blowing and roaring about it. Like, climb up, little boy, said the tree, and it bent its branches down as low as it could. But the boy was too tiny, so he is not able to climb it. Okay. The giant, seeing this one, the giant's heart, right? Giant's heart. Even though he's a selfish giant, he melted as he looked out. So he is seeing that how selfish I have been. have been wizard, and now I know why the spring would not come here. Okay, he will put the poor boy, little boy, on the top of the tree, and then I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be the children's playground forever and ever. He was really very sorry for what he had done so far. Okay, so he crept downstairs and opened the front door quite softly. Okay, and went out into the garden. On seeing him, the children's right, they were so frightened, they all ran away, and the garden becomes winter again. Once only the little boy did not run because he is not able to see the giant because his eyes is full of tears and he did not see the giant coming. The giant stole up behind him and took him gently in his hand and put him in the tree. No, not one of the branches of the tree. The tree broke out into blossoms. The birds came and then sang on it. The little boy stretched out his two arms and flung them around the neck, giant's neck, and kissed him. When they saw the giant was not wicked any longer, other children came running back, and along with them, spring also came back. It is your garden right now. Little children tell the giant in this case. Okay, it is your garden right now. Little children. These are the words from the giants right now. And he took a great axe, okay, and knocked down the wall. So when the people were going to market at 12, right, 12 o'clock, what time it is? 12 o'clock, right? They found the giant playing with the children in this case, okay? In the most beautiful garden they had ever seen, okay? All day long they played, and the evening they came to the giant to bid him goodbye. Okay? Every time, actually, like the giant asked the boys, where is the boy? I put it in the tree. The giant loved him the best because he had kissed him in this case, okay? We don't know. That is the answer from the children, okay? You must tell him to be sure and come here tomorrow, said the giant in this case. Okay, but the children say that they did not know where he lived and they had never seen him before, and the giant felt very sad. Years went over, okay, and the giant grew very old and feeble in this case. Okay, he could not play anything he cannot play about anymore. Actually. So he sat in a huge armchair and watched the children at their games and admired his garden. I have many beautiful flowers, he said, but the children, they are the most beautiful flowers of all. One winter, like one winter morning, he looked out of his window as he was dressing. Okay, he did not hate the winter right now because he knew that it was merely the spring asleep in this case, and that the flowers were resting in this case. Okay, suddenly he rubbed his eyes in wonder and looked and looked. It certainly was a marvelous sight. The farthest corner of the garden was a tree quite covered with the lovely white blossoms. Blossoms. Okay, its branches were golden. Okay, branches are golden, and silver fruits hang down from them. Silver fruits, branches are golden. Underneath, it stood the little boy he had loved. Okay, downstairs ran the giant in great joy, and out into the garden. He hastened across the grass and came near to the child. And when he came quite close to his face, he felt anger because he has seen the child's hands were the prints of two nails. The print of two nails were also in the little feet in this case. Okay, prints of two nails in the hands as well as in the little feet. So then was angry and asked the little boy about this wound. Like his answer, these were the wounds of the love. The little boy said, these are the wounds of love. And the child said to the giant, okay, you let me play once in your garden. Today, you shall come with me to my garden, which is a paradise. Okay. And when the children ran in that afternoon, they found the giant lying dead under the tree, all covered with white blossoms. This is the story about the selfish giant, okay, written by Oscar Wilde. Fair enough. We can see some of the queries which can be potentially we can get it from this particular story. It gives an idea about that what kind of questions you can get it from this particular story, right? So I can just want to put some questions here in this case. The first one is like who visited the giant's garden every afternoon? It's nothing but the children in this case, right? Okay. How many trees were there? There are 12 trees are there in this case, okay, which we have listed in this case. How many trees are means 12 trees we have it, palm trees. Okay, this is another information you can see that. Why do the children like to play in the giant's garden? It was a lovely garden because that's the reason the children were interested to play in the giant's garden in this case. It's a lovely garden. What type of trees, right, were there in the garden in this case? The peach trees, big peach trees. Peach trees. Okay. Who took the giant to the paradise in this case? God in the form of the little boy in this case. God in the form of little boy. Okay. What covered the giant's dead body in this case? White blossoms, right? Where did the children find the giant lying dead? Under the tree. The children saw the dead body of the giant under the tree in this case. Okay. What happened to the giant in this case? He died. Okay. Who became old and feeble in this particular story in this case? The giant. The selfish giant is the one in this case, right? Whom did the giant long to see? The little boy. Okay. Why did the little boy cry standing under the tree in this case? He could not climb the tree. He could not climb on the tree. That is the reason for his could not climb. Who sneaked into the garden through a little hole? The children in this case, right? Who enjoyed the stay during winter in the garden? So who enjoyed the selfish giant garden in this case, right? This is snow, frost, north wind, and hail, right? Who forgot to sing in the garden? The birds forgot to sing in the garden, right? What season dominated the giant's garden in this case? Is winter. What did the trees forgot to do? Blossom. What did the giant think of when he heard the sweet music in this case? You think of the king's musician, right? Must be passed by. What type of a person was the giant in this case? It's a selfish person initially. These are some of the potential questions you can get it from this selfish giant. See, if you have the chance to practice my practice test, which is created for this English, actually you will be getting more hold on what it is asking these particular questions. Okay, so these are the few useful information with respect to selfish giant, which was written by Oscar Wilde. I think we can stop right now and then we can continue the discussion related to the general English portion, right, in the upcoming section. Thank you very much. Happy learning.